He is asking us to trust Him and to allow Him to do, as He says in verse 5, that no one else can do. You see, the garden within is only healthy if the gardener has access to what's been planted. And so if the gardener does not have access, he cannot help grow the garden. And so let me encourage you to give God full access to do a work in your heart through His Word. What he talks about this access is he's talking about abiding. And he talks about the need to abide in Him and He in you. He talks about having that close connection. I want to talk about the blessing of abiding in two parts. And the first part is this, that His correction, as the one who is the vine, His correction confirms our connection to Him. So His correction of us confirms our connection to Him. Look what He says. He says, I am the true vine, the Father is the husband. Then He says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit is taken away. He says, listen, I'm the one, I'm the judge, I'm the one that's going to look at the branches and see if they're healthy or not. The word branch, kalma, is a word that's an offshoot of the vine. It's the thing that's fed by the vine, the nutrients. And I think we have a picture of what the vine and the branches are. This is the vine down here. And the branches are shooting off of it. They're growing off of it. Here's another one. The branches are a lot larger now, and they're supported by these lines of this vineyard. And so the vine is down here, and the branches are supported up top. He says if there is not growth, if there is not fruit, they're taken away. This is a term throughout the New Testament for judgment. It's the term hyro. It means to carry away, to be removed, to be suspended, but it was the same word that they would use to weigh anchor. They would take an anchor and they would take it out of the water and they would put it away, and because it no longer had use. And so Jesus is saying, listen, if there's no fruit growing from your life, the judge takes away, the gardener prunes, he takes away it, but it's different than just cutting a few parts of the branch. It's a total removal, and in verse 6 it says that the branches are burned. And so what do these branches look like? Here they are. These are branches that are growing off of the vine. The vine has health, but the branches do not. And so I think it's important for us to understand that without a connection to Christ, there can be no health, there can be no growth. And so in verse 6, when he says that if any man abide not in me, and if you're not connected to me, if you're not a follower of mine, if you don't have a relationship with me, then there's no growth, there's no health. And he says that's when you're withered and men will cast it into the fire and be burned. How much more God the Father to say, hey, I gave you an opportunity to be connected in me and you rejected me. By the way, this is a hard truth, but those who reject Christ, they do receive the judgment of God. Not because God is unloving, no, quite the opposite. God is so loving, He gives a choice. And one of those choices can be to refuse a connection with Him.